This is Half Serious, where we dig into the things that keep us going. Habits, hobbies, hell, even bad ideas, and the hard crap that nearly breaks us. Because life doesn't pull punches, and somewhere between the chaos and the craft, the dichotomy of life teaches us a lesson. We laugh, we curse, and we keep freaking going. So pour a drink or start your marathon, and let's get into it. This is one of the rawest interviews yet and contains discussions of death, dark humor, and violence. His resume of situations is due to him being a shit magnet for well over 2 decades. He has some due to his stubborn volition, but other is just damn bad luck. However, his exposure gave him the experience to influence a younger generation with a knowledge base of not only how to avoid it, but how to be better at it. Alright, so, you're the first person that I'm interviewing I didn't write any questions down for. So I'm just gonna go off the cuff with half this stuff. Also, I can't sit straight, so I put my feet up. I just can't sit regular half the time. So.
I just think it's pretty weird to maybe take my clothes off for this.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you felt most relaxed that way. Is that not true?
Weird podcast.
Luckily, they can't see that part. But do you want to introduce yourself, or shall I?
I'm Chas, unemployed.
Retired.
Yeah, retired. Some people call me a quitter, but whatever. I became a cop at 23. When I first applied, you had to have a degree.
Oh.
Or you could be a lateral. So 5 years out there until the chief of police pissed me off, and then I quit.
So you were in the 47th lateral?
Yep.
So you were right before me.
I was 47th. They just did the 47th Academy way later.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Yeah, we were the 47th Lateral Academy, and then they did the 47th
Oh.
after us.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, I'm 48. They actually let you police, I guess.
Yeah, they actually...
This one.
As long as you could justify it, you go hands-on, you go hands-on. That's when I took to heart that if you're going to put somebody down hard. And that's the way I've always been ever since.
Because, I mean, if you put somebody down improperly, they're just going to get back up, or they're going to come at you again, and then you're going to damage them even more, or worse than you would have initially. So, what units were you a part of?
At Madison, I was on the SWAT team. I went to narcotics pretty quickly. Stack. While I was in Stack, I also got the dog, so I had to go to K-9 handler school. So technically, I was a K-9 handler and narcotics. Got out of that, got promoted to sergeant. Started my career at Second Shift North. I ended my career as Second Shift North sergeant. Come full circle.
You were only a sergeant for a few years? I thought you were a sergeant for longer. Dang, that was a long few years.
Yeah, it was.
I think you had enough of the gambit of everything within those span of a few years. Also, who gets promoted to sergeant and then does it for only 3 years? And you're like, all right, that's enough.
Everybody keeps asking me how come I retired so early, because I'm only 49 years old. And it's just, someone once told me, make sure you go out at your best and on your terms before they show you the door themselves. And I'm like, you know what? I'm at my best. Let's just go ahead and pull this trigger. And it was spur of the moment. I didn't know I was going to put in my papers that day.
I still can't believe you retired exactly a year.
I tell everybody, and, of course, I'm half-assed mean it, but I tell everybody, because they asked me today when I was picking up that shotgun, you sure you wanted to retire that early? And I was like, nah. I was like, but everything's changed. And they're like, yeah. And then, of course, there's a certain individual that they always bring up of making me want to retire. I was like, no. I was like, I blame Tess. I fucking left me high and dry, or else I'd still be working here.
But I don't know. I feel like most people I talk to when they leave, they have that moment of regret almost. So nothing. You're just like, yeah, I'm ready for this stuff.
Like I said, I mean, I haven't regretted it, not one day. I'm just enjoying it. I smoke cigars every day, play with my dogs in the backyard, just chilling. Zero stress.
But you were productive like your entire freaking... Either that or a shit magnet. I don't really know which one it was.
Both.
I thought that when you retired, you'd immediately be like, I don't know how to do life without the... adrenaline of it. So
I think that's what was great about being a sergeant when I did was, when I first got promoted, I can't remember who it was, but somebody came to me and was like, look, it's no longer your job to kick in the door.
Yeah.
Your job is to teach these guys how to kick in the door. So I took that to heart. And so even I can remember like one of my first days, barricaded subject, but we make it into the apartment, whatever, and we end up having to fight this guy. And I'm sitting there, I'm trying to get into the fight, and my peer sergeant is holding me back. He's like, no, just tell them what to do. Because I was still in that focus. And then as it got gradually, I think that's why I kind of don't miss the action, because I hadn't been in the action the last 2+ years. I was just in a leadership role, teaching people to do what I used to do.
Whenever they say the expression, I'll do anything. Oh, I'll crawl over razor wire. I'm like, no. The difference between, to me, the police relationships and the civilian relationships, a lot of the times, not absolute, like with anything, but The cops will literally, that they will crawl over razor wire, and not even to help their friend to catch a bad guy. So imagine what they'll do for a friend, or even just somebody that's on the team with them. And I always think of you crawling over a freaking razor wire, because I'm sorry, that's my stopping point. Like, I don't have many, there's not much stuff. I'm like, all right, no, you need to stop and think about this. But crawling over razor wire to catch a bad guy, nah, I'm out. I'm not doing it.
Hey, that was fun until the razor wire collapsed and we all hit the ground and it wrapped us up in it. And then getting all the stitches I ended up having to get after that. I was like, well, that was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Scars, personality.
Well, so speaking of shit magnet and everything else, not to go into the really bad shit, which I'm sure we'll talk about in some second, but the stuff that you didn't realize was as serious as it was, when you're going through it. Like afterwards, you kind of mulled it over and you're like, shit, that was pretty serious.
It's a lot of them.
Hey, at least you can remember them. That's
I
pretty
remember
good.
some of them. I've heard people tell stories about being. I'm like, damn, it sounds familiar. And then somebody was sitting beside me because it was you, dumbass.
You were there.
Yeah, shit. No, I mean, the thing with me was, even as a young kid, I mean, my parents could tell you if they're still alive, I never feared anything. Fear never creeped in. I mean, I was always out there catching snakes. I caught a rattlesnake one time. I mean, fear never crept in. I was that crazy kid that would jump off a bridge, not even knowing how deep the water is. I'd just do it. And
so how did you make it to adulthood?
yeah, right. And no one thought that I would. But the thing is it always sank in after it was over. Like thinking about it, that's when the fear actually sank in. I'm like, damn, shit, I got lucky on that one. But no, I mean, I guess that off-duty robbery where I didn't have a gun. I pulled up 4 people about to take down a pharmacy, no gun. I didn't even have on a shirt. I just got through working. Scared 2 of them off. My schooling tires on my truck. Like, look, I see you. So 2 of them decommitted. The other 2, they stay committed. And I had to watch them go in. I don't have a gun. I called 911. That was a nightmare talking to them. I should just call dispatch. So my wife at the time is in that store. And they're armed. I saw their guns. They're wearing masks. My fear was for her. And when they came out, I was so pissed off that I was like, you know what? So I put my truck in drive, peel out, and I'm gunning for them. Well, there's just behind our store's a big-ass ditch. My truck wasn't going to make it without me breaking my axles. Bail out of my truck, take off running through this damn field with these 2. Tackle the first one I come to, he actually had the money back, so that was kind of cool. I fight him for his gun, end up getting his gun, and I'm raising up because his buddy's still running, but I thought he might have been coming towards him, but his buddy never would stop. The 38 revolver, I just would unload in his direction. But yeah, no, once that was all said and done, I was like, cool, went in, cleared the business. Once the sheriff's department pulled up, cleared the business with them, found my wife at the time. She's horrified, whatever. Come outside, news media, of course, shows up and all that stuff. And I was fine. And then later on that night, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, dude, you just went up against 2 armed gunmen without a fucking weapon. What the fuck were you doing? And the 911 tapes, I had to go, because they put a hit out on me in the jail. So I had to have my own security there. So I have to go down the county to fill out some paperwork for them a couple days later. And they're like, hey, we need to let you listen to this. So they played me the tape of the young man that I caught that day. And he's putting out a hit on me, describing me to his mom. And his mom's putting a hit out on me over the phone.
Is that the one that I think because I thought I got a shots fired call or something like that. And
when I got shot at my front yard.
That's what it was. I was going to say, I know I got one call with you off duty and I was working. I'm like, Chaz, aren't you not at work? And you're like, yeah, I'm not at work.
Yeah, not front yard and I just, the fucked up thing is I had just moved. We just bought that house and we just moved from an apartment into that house. I hadn't been there 3 weeks. I had no clue who my neighbors was.
Yeah.
And my neighbor got me shot at in my own front yard at about 8:00 at night.
Welcome to
I was like, fuck me, this shit falling down. And of course, then, go back in my old house with my wife at that time, they shot up my patrol car in front of my damn house.
Who was that person that ended up doing that? I don't even remember.
That was, what was the name of that gang? It was, still say that because they spray painted all the stop signs with their gang graffiti. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, they got dealt with, shot like 7 or 8 rounds into my damn patrol car in front of my house.
So that's what I mean by shit magnet. I mean, I've had some bad things happen, but typically it's because I had some hand in it to some degree.
I mean, I haven't gotten into a lot of shit off duty. All good. I mean, well, depends on which way you look at me.
So then I want to say congratulations to making it to retirement. I'll be honest, I didn't think you'd make it this far.
No one did. I mean, no one did. I'm sure my dad and my mom are wherever they are looking down like, can you believe this little motherfucker?
He made it to retirement. He's not dead or in prison.
Yeah, I mean, because that's how I I did things.
Well, at least you're an example for the younger crowd.
And, that's partly another reason why career is because you're starting to see more and more people are joining this job and they're not wanting to actually do the job.
I don't know, like, I can't part of me goes back and forth, right? I can't fault them for it because it is a different job. If you or I, try to defend our life 15 years ago, it was like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, you're trying to live. Cops can live. That's okay." But now it's like, "Oh, why did you do this and do that?" And now you're, getting crucified in the media. So I'm never going to condone sitting in a parking lot and not actually doing your job. But I can understand if that is the motivation for doing it. Like if they're kind of worried, not scared because of taking action, but scared because of the repercussions of the media. Like I can understand a little bit about that, but
I get it, but if you do it the right way, my thing is, I think it, when I first started in the police world, you had a few officers, and I'm sure it's everywhere in the country, that they were only there for benefits and part-time jobs. They weren't there for the job. You're starting to see more and more of that, or they're wanting to be TikTok famous. Oh, look at me in my uniform. But yeah, it's just a different mentality. To me, these younger kids, they look at it as this is just another job. Me, I always wanted to do this since I was like 6. My earliest memory wanting to do this. To me, this was my life. I was going to do everything I could to get to that position, and then I was going to do it for as long as I possibly could. And I did. It was just a different mentality.
do you think that it'll ever go back? Do you think that's just where we're at and it's just gonna be a different era of policing? And I'm not saying that they're all there. Obviously, it's not an absolute with anything that I say. But do you think that generally it's gonna change now, or do you think that it'll kind of snap back to how it was?
No, I don't think there's no going back. Everybody has knee-jerk reactions. Now, all police departments have knee-jerk reactions from what the media basically, the media is starting to dictate how we do our jobs. I think now it's turned to where back when me and you first started, you had a few of those people, and now it's turned where you've only got a few really good cops. Everybody else just, we used to call them satellite cops. They would orbit around the
God, yes.
crime scene in a bad place. It's really scary at the moment because it's not been
So
cleared.
scary.
And then once 15 people show up and they clear it and all that, all of a sudden they show up.
The professional backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd see their yeah. I totally forgot about that. So you just said that.
Oh, yeah, they're out there. There's more of them now than.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I was blessed with the squad that I had. They were a bunch of damn meat eaters. I would go anywhere with those guys. They wanted to be cops and they're still doing it. So I give them props.
No, I think they weren't afraid to do their job either because, at that time, and I can't speak for the future, but they had supervisors that knew how to, help them with stuff like, hey, listen, you can't do this. That is violating rights. You can do this because of A, B, and C, and D. So you educated them on basically what policing was in action, not just, academic. Like, well, I think are you really doing your job though? If you haven't actually had to change a policy because of
Oh,
what you
no,
did.
no. A couple suspensions, it's part of it. That's, that was always been my mentality too is I see this a lot with this younger generation, especially being a supervisor. You spank them, they can't get over it.
Yeah.
Me, I always had the mentality of, I did it, spank me, and then I came right back to work, head held high, and out there going after it again. I was like, I never
Yeah.
stopped. It's just, but now you spank them and they just completely shut down. And you're just like,
Yeah.
bro, man.
It's a policy or it's something and you violated it. Here you go. You shouldn't have violated it. Do better. I mean, yeah, there's some of them you gotta hit. Like, hey, they're incompetent or they're violating rights or they're pieces of shit cops. But that's rare. I'd say I've probably really had to really truly try to fire maybe 3.
I only ever had to suspend one. The most I ever gave somebody was a written.
Is there any time when, ooh, sorry, Castle? Sorry, I just dropped my dog. is, is there any time when, I mean, like, I don't think I realized how close I was to breaking, like, who I was as a person until I got out of policing. But there were so many times throughout the years where I came close to that prior to retirement, and laughter let me grasp onto something to kind of get me through the rest of it. Is there something that you can think of where you were almost like, no, this is a breaking point for me, and then levity or maybe camaraderie or something like that, something gave you the grit to make it to retirement? Because I mean, all joking aside, all the shit, I'm really surprised half make it to freaking retirement.
Oh yeah, everybody knows my mouth.
It's a smart mouth for those
It-
that don't know. It's very,
yeah,
he'll say what he thinks.
I am very cringe. Nothing usually ever gets to me. No, got called to Dude calls in and says he's suicidal, which, you get that 1,000 times. You never think nothing of it. You're like, yeah, whatever. It's a cry for help, whatever. So I get there. I'm by myself. He's left the door open. It's an apartment complex. He's left the door open, second floor. So I kind of halfway go up the stairs, yell. He hollers at me. He's like, yeah, I'm in my bedroom. It's like, all right. Still waiting on backup. No backup's coming. So I'm trying to make a dialogue with him. Well, I get to where I can actually see him. Of course, he's laying in his bed. He's got a Bible next to him. It's open, whatever. He's got a 38 revolver in his hand. So I'm trying to talk to him. He's like, look, you're not talking me out of this. Turns out, he was going through a crisis in his own life because he was very religious, but he was also homosexual. So he was conflicted. So I'm trying to talk to him. And this is the first time it ever happened to me. It happened to me since then, though. So I'm trying to talk to him. My backup still ain't there. Trying to talk to him, and he's like, no. He's like, we're done. He just cocks it back, puts it to the head, and just pops himself right in the head. Dispatch has still got an open line. They're like 10:18 and officers 10:31 because they just heard a shotgun fired. And, I'm like, holy shit, this dude just shot himself in front of me. First time that had happened. It'll happen later on. But, so I'm just holding him there. I'm not even trying to check for vitals, nothing like that, because, I've seen that movie. So first officer arrives on scene and he's like, hey man, he's like, you good? And I was like, man, I'm good, bro. I was like, he's not. Another officer shows up on scene and we're all talking and I'm telling them the story and they're like, so do you think he's dead? And I'm like, either that, he just gave himself one hell of a fucking lobotomy. What the fuck do you think? And of course, then they all started cracking up and it rolled on from there. But yeah, no, that one messed with me a little bit because that was the first time in my career someone had done that in front of me.
Yeah.
Like I said, later on it happened several more times, but that one was the first one to where I was like, because up until then, all those calls, those same calls I went on, they just wanted attention or they just wanted to talk to somebody. This dude was committed, and he waited until I got there to do it, and I was like, wow.
Why do you think you waited till you got there to do it?
Honestly, when I look back on it, I'd love to know, had his family disowned him and he was afraid nobody was going to find us or nobody was going to come check on him.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of because, he literally waited until he had eyes on me before he did what he did. I know it wasn't to try and traumatize me because he didn't know me for shit. I think he was just worried, which, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, there is, yeah, you're right. Several of those calls that they did call the cops and then it's just like we show up and they're just freshly dead because they were waiting. That's odd to wait until you actually step in the place.
Yeah, I was in his bedroom. I was at his bedroom door, and I'll never forget it. That one will always stick with me. That one, and I had a dude set himself on fire in front of me. That one will stick with me.
No, I don't think I've ever had to deal with that one before. That
was crazy because he did it in front of his whole family. We're outside. I get there, of course, again, I'm by myself, and he's done drenched himself in gasoline. So first thing I smell when I get out of my car. See, he ain't got no weapon or nothing like that, but he's got a big lighter in his hand, but I don't see it. He's just holding it. So I'm trying to talk to him, and they're like, you got to help him, blah, blah, blah. And he'd been smoking. And I can smell the gasoline. Hey, man, you really don't want to do this. Blah, blah, trying to do the whole CIT shit before CIT was a thing. Because this was like after I got
crisis intervention team.
Yeah. So I'm like trying to help him out. And I was like, man, you really don't want to do this. And apparently that was the wrong thing to say to him. He's like, yeah, I do. Watch this shit. And he took that big lighter and he just sparked it. And he went up like a Roman candle. And I was like, because he is fully engulfed. And he just ran around the yard for a little bit until he just collapsed. And they're like, they're screaming at me, do something. I'm like, I can't help him at this point in time. And yeah, he just ran around until he collapsed. For the longest, I couldn't eat barbecue after that. I couldn't stand the smell of it.
And there's not much if somebody's that engulfed, there's really nothing you can do unless you're a fireman. You actually have that kind of crap to put him out.
He was probably 10 feet away from me when he lit himself, and I guarantee you the temperature from 10 feet away probably rose 20 degrees. It was hot. It got hot quick. I was just like, oh my God.
That's like those cars that have caught on fire or that, they've been wrecked into and stuff like that. I remember in particular where a pair of teens that were wrecked into the back. It was after some drunks ran into the back of this car. They exploded and then they were dead instantly. But, we didn't know that. And so one of our buddies went up there to go get him and, singed his whole body, basically trying to get these kids out of the car. You can't get in the car. They're dead already, but, they're going to try. But the heat of that thing, it just singes all of your hair and you can't get in there. It's just impossible. There's no way to get in one of those cars unless you got some tools, if it's that engulfed.
So, no, it's just little things like that. Like I said, I can't remember my whole career. I hear people tell stories about me and I'm like, who did that? And they're like, you dumbass. I'm like, holy shit.
What
But I
dumbass did that?
remember certain parts of it. I remember a lot of the joking around like when me and you back in second shift west, the going back and forth, even though you were a sergeant and I'm just a patrolman and, these rookies would see how I'd fuck with you and they're just looking
Yeah,
like, dude, she's goddamn in charge. It's just tear shit up.
yeah, it's a whole other level of like knowing people too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say, but when I went through my rough patch when I got assigned up there and had to deal with the second shift thing when I wasn't expecting to have to deal with that kind of adversity at that point in my career, that was I mean, I wish I could think of a better word than amazing. You guys made it easy for me to make that transition to second shift after coming out of the other unit that I was in because you guys just did your fucking job. I mean, you respected the rank and everything like that and came with me when you needed to about stuff, but you guys fucking were rocking and rolling and doing your stuff. And I was so glad that I got to have that time being a part of a squad with you and our other teammates. I got to be a part of a lot of really, really good squads. So I'm not knocking you because damn, I got lucky with a lot of the stuff. But to leave out with you guys to kinda going back to Second North and doing it that way, that was pretty fun. That was pretty cool.
We had a great time. I mean, I loved it. I mean, like I said, you're part of the reason why I retired.
Oh, don't blame me for that shit now. I'll have people
That
coming after me.
dynamic.
Well, I don't know if you wanna talk about this, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. So, our buddy I mean, we've had a few deaths in the department, and I talked about this previously too. I don't know if this is a weird thank you or not, but when, our buddy died well, are the last buddy that died, not the previous ones, but the one most recently that we were close to. I had to handle a lot of the scene and stuff like that. And at the time, I was so overwhelmed with because I had to lie to a lot of people saying he was still alive when he wasn't, and I knew he wasn't. But I had to lie to a bunch of people, and I hated that. I hated myself for doing that stuff. But I had to because we had to wait for people to get there, for his family to get there before we could actually say something to everybody. So the family can know first. I was told, hey, listen, you're doing this, but could you also be the liaison? And I don't break down and cry very often. I don't break down at all, really. I'm pretty good at keeping that stuff tight-lipped, but I broke down for a minute. I was like, oh my God, I cannot carry anything else. I cannot do this anything anymore. I can't do this. I've got too much scenes, too much stuff. And he's lying in the ER. And then somebody came back to me and said that they were going to handle it. And then later they came back and said that Chaz has it. And so I know that continued to be a burden for you, and obviously with family, and you were close, and all that other stuff. I just in that moment, and you didn't know that happened. That was the biggest sigh of relief I got that day, and there wasn't many, right? There wasn't any kind of sighs of relief that day. But thank you for coming in and handling that stuff. And I don't know that you knew that all happened, but that was. I mean, I fell out for a good second because I couldn't. I was like, I cannot handle another thing tonight. Then they came by and said you had it, and I kind of hated it for you because I was like, I know he needs a minute, but I was gonna take it. I was like, thank God.
And no, that was a bad day. That was a that was a bad day. I'll never forget it. My wife worked for the same department. She worked third shift, and I was in the kitchen making something. I was in the apartment. I'd just gotten married. He was at my wedding. We talked about making plans, and everybody knows how close me and him were. But it's just like anything else throughout your careers, the dynamic changes because they go on to something else, you
Mhm.
go on to something else, different off days, and you have obligations to your families. Once we left the same shift, yeah, we were still boys, but you hardly ever saw each other.
Yeah.
So he came to my wedding, and my wedding was that November. He went down in December. Or no, my wedding was that October. He went down in December. So I remember a lot of that stuff I don't remember. But I do remember I'm in my kitchen, my phone's on vibrate on the couch, and we had just gotten our puppy at the time, and she's asleep. And I remember hearing my phone buzzing, but I ain't paying no attention to it, and because I can't remember what I was cooking. I was cooking something. So I walked back, got my food, sit down in front of the TV, grabbed my phone, and I had like 127 missed calls, several text messages. I can't remember how many. And one of my buddies had texted and said, "Hey, call me immediately. You need to start en route to the ER." So I'm like, all right. So I go back there, wake her up, say, "Hey, I got to go. We got an officer down." I was like, "Don't know who it is yet, but I got to go." So I take
You
off from my
didn't know
truck.
who it was when you got
Not
it?
not at that point in time. And I had received
Yeah.
another phone call from another buddy en route because I still hadn't called that one buddy back. And he's telling me it was a different agent that went down.
Yeah, I got the same, yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, what, Jesus. So keep going. Call my buddy back as I'm getting on 565 because I lived in Madison. Call him back and he's like, hey, he's like, where you at? And I'm like, just got on interstate, buddy. He's like, I'm on my way. I was like, I heard, so and so. And he goes, no, it's not so and so. I'm like, shit. I was like, who is it? He's like, it's him. And from that moment on, I don't remember a whole lot. I remember making it to the hospital. I remember walking into the flood of HPD, everybody trying to hug me. I'm just like pushing people off. Get to the room where they had put the family. Get in there. Like you, I don't know he's dead. I just know he's been shot. They lied to me, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was me. So
So
I'm sorry.
And then they asked me to be the liaison, and I took that seriously, and
Yeah.
I got her everywhere she needed to go. So I really didn't really have time to grieve. And then once it was up to her on when she didn't need liaison or any more protection at her house. So once she told me that, and I was done, I made the phone call and said, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm going home." I can remember making it to my apartment and just this has been 5 days. Done the funeral, done everything, the funeral arrangements, all that good shit. I remember being in my apartment and just losing my shit because it all pretty much sank in at that point in time. And I was just like, damn.
5 days later.
Yeah. So it was, that was probably one of the roughest, that I ever went through. Ended up having to see a therapist. Most people would never imagine that I went and saw a therapist, but
Well, to be fair, I think you should have seen one a lot longer.
probably. But yeah. So yeah, that was one of those moments that you don't ever wish would ever happen, but they're going to. And then when it goes, you're just like, I think the hardest thing with him was such a great cop.
Yeah.
To where I think it finally stuck in my head, like if he can go down, shit, anybody can.
Yeah. That you always think the ones that don't have good tactics or that just do the stupid things are the ones that are going to go, and then somebody like he goes and it scrambles your brain. Like, I can't do anything to prevent this, or I don't know. That was a hard hit throughout the part. I'm not saying none of them were, but he knew so many people and he had such a positive impact and he'd been around for so long.
Oh, that was a hard hit on the community.
Yeah.
Remember his funeral?
Yeah.
God, people from everywhere came out to that.
Yeah. That was a really cool funeral. I remember it just suddenly snowed. We weren't even supposed to get snow that day, and it
Billy
snowed so much.
And he loved snow.
That was cool.
That caught me as I was driving in the funeral procession with his wife. It started snowing, and we and her just looked at each other like, "Holy cow!" That one was a tough one. It took me a long time to get over that one. I went through a couple of different therapists because that one took a lot. And I've never told anybody that. I've never told anybody I went and saw a therapist.
I've never heard you tell that story. I've always been curious because I know my story and what all happened bit by bit that day. And I don't know when you even got there or when you got involved. I know I felt like shit because of all the lying I did that day. And how mad I was at the person that told me to lie. But which I get, it is. You gotta tell people so you guys can all know at the same time. It wasn't ideal, but that you did, thank you. That is a burden that most people will hopefully never, ever, ever freaking know. But to be that liaison, especially when you're trying to deal with it yourself, and then you have to be the liaison to assist other people when you haven't even gotten a chance to go through it, dude, to go for that for days, that's fucking hard.
Oh, it was definitely an experience, something I don't ever wish upon anybody.
But it will happen again, unfortunately.
I was glad I got to do it for his family. She would praise me like every day. She's like, I don't know how you're remembering all this shit because I never took notes, but getting her to here and here and here. And she's like, I don't know how you're doing this. And honestly, I don't even remember doing it. I think I just kind of shut off. I was pretty much numb to everything. And that was my focus, was to make sure they got every place they needed to be.
Yeah, I'll say you were definitely just looked like you're going through the motions when I saw you. It was the one that Chaz wasn't really there. It was like
oh no,
I'm just doing something. Here's what I'm doing. This is my kind of like, any kind of traumatic event that cops go through. You were very task oriented, and it was like, I'm doing A, B, and C to get through this until it's done.
Yeah, I remember getting home at night, and this one thing I do remember was like the night before the funeral. Got home pretty late, helping her with all her stuff, and got home, sat on the couch. Of course, my wife works third shift. Sit on the couch, and in my mind, I'm watching a movie. And my wife gets up to get ready for work. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just watching a movie, trying to relax." She looks over and she's like, "TV's not on." So don't know what the hell I was watching in my mind.
I'm a little scared to watch whatever movie you were watching.
But it's like little things like that Few things that still get to me, and that one's one of them. I mean,
Was there anything you do different that day or those days, I guess? Any of those?
well, yeah, I wished we'd have kept it like we always did and made time for each other because I remember
Yeah.
at my wedding, he shows up with his wife and he always called me my boy. He said, "What's up, my boy?" We're just shooting the shit after the ceremony, and we had made plans to all get together and have a big ass cookout, throw back some, you know, beers and shoot the shit like old times. He went down like 3 weeks prior to that was supposed to happen. So, yeah. So, bad timing. After all that, it kinda, like I said, it changed me, and I took more of a leadership role, even though I wasn't in leadership.
How long after his death did you decide to take on that role?
It's probably about 6 months, 7 months later after I got through doing my stupid shit and, in therapy and all that. I started, like, trying to look after officers and, big scenes. I started taking control of it. The sergeant and the lieutenant at the time would just back away, and I just start directing traffic as normal, and, but yeah, and then I started trying to teach the younger officers, tactics, stuff like that, so, like I said, I guess it changed me for the better,
Yeah.
but yeah, it definitely changed me. I wasn't so quick to downgrade somebody for being an idiot, but,
Says a lot.
yeah, but I was still mad at some of the higher ups. Yeah, my mouth is my biggest enemy. I'd voice my opinion and they hated that shit. That they couldn't
Mm.
change.
I'm still big on like, I don't think you should fear somebody that has a different opinion from you because it's gonna give you a different perspective on something. I think that you had a lot of different opinions on stuff, and I don't I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing to voice that stuff. I mean, yeah, does it get to a point where it's like, okay, maybe I'm, being disrespectful and it's just gonna come back with discipline? Yeah, but still, sometimes you gotta shout at the top of your lungs before people will listen to you on if something's a really bad idea, especially has to do with officer safety. Like some of the stuff that would come out, but I wasn't too good at that myself. I just tried to do a little bit more politically.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm honestly swear to God, I am amazed I never got wrote up for insubordination.
Yeah, me
Some of the
too.
shit that would come out of my mouth.
I kind of feel like you should have definitely, and now I'm a little disappointed that you never have.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going off on the chief during in service and to where the 2 people who were sitting beside me quickly found new seats to get the fuck away from me.
I don't know that guy.
'Cause I had him so fired up that
Which
he started calling me by my first name. I put it in my eval, does not play well with others. That was in, like, 5 of 'em.
well, okay. So does not play with others, but if I was getting mm, the shit beat out of me, would I want you to respond? 100 times out of 100 times. When they're like, "Hey, which ones do you want to respond?" There's some of them I'm like, "Yes," and you were one of those like, "Hell yes, I'm dying out there. Yes, bring his ass there."
Yeah, no, actually, that you said that, there was a certain supervisor, I didn't work for him, but me and him just did not like each other, and, I can remember we're in service, and it was, if I didn't like you, I tried not to speak to you, and I just ignored that you ever fucking existed, and, of course, you could tell that me and him did not like each other because we wouldn't make eye contact with each other, we wouldn't speak to each other, wouldn't be in the same vicinity as each other, and, I remember him it was after a major event, I can't remember which one it was. He was there, I got there, and it was a complete shit show when I got there. And he's telling me, he's like, "Hey, I just want to talk to you." So we're on lunch and he's talking to me. I ate at the academy and he's like, "I just want to tell you this." He's like, "I don't like you." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck about you either." He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "But I always wanted to tell you this." He's like, "I've been on a lot of scenes with you." He's like, "And yeah, a lot of people don't like you. It's like either they love you or they just absolutely fucking hate you." He's like, "But I can tell you this." And he's like, "And it pains me to say this." He's like, "Every time you show up on a scene, no matter if those officers like you, hate you, no matter if the supervisors like you, hate you," he's like, "they breathe a breath of
Mhm.
relief because they know shit's gonna get done and it's gonna go down the way it needs to go." And I always took that as a, "Damn, man,
Yeah.
thanks for saying that. Still don't like your fucking ass," but I never looked at
That
it
says
like that.
something. To me, that's like the greatest compliment you can get. I mean, to be the one that like if I'm getting like the few fights I've been in where I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna go bad because somebody's up on top of me and they're trying to grab my gun and stuff, and then you're one of those voices that if I heard on the radio, I was like, oh, thank God. I'll just hang on until I can get somebody else here. Some of those voices you hear, you're like, oh, shit, man, let me just pull my own gun out of my damn holster. But
Yeah, I know.
you're one of the ones where it's like, I just hang on for a little bit longer. I'm good.
There was one scene you came on, it was a, domestic where the guy stabbed the girl, And I was first one on the scene, and he sees me. He's still got the knife in his hand because they're outside. And he runs back up in the house. As soon as he runs through the kitchen, and there's a hallway to the right. Well, I'm chasing him to the kitchen. He goes all the way down the hallway and then goes in the left back bedroom, far back bedroom. And he basically barricades himself in. Of course, I get on there like, whatever my call sign was back then. I was second shift north. And I remember getting on there and like, I need 1055. I got a barricaded subject, blah. Got one cut in the front yard. I'm holding down the hallway so he can't come back out or get away. And I remember you showing up. And then, goddamn, it was like the whole fucking police department showed up on this fucking call. And I remember one of the guys, I'm like, damn, dude. I was like, shit, all you motherfuckers came.
You don't
shit.
say, I need assistance. That's not something that comes out of your mouth.
So that was also a good feeling, and that's what I love about my career. I was like, I look at it like this. I've had some bad moments and I've had some good moments. I've had a lot of good moments. And to me, I'm not going to try to be all philosophical or not like that, but to me, the good moments only are so good because you went through the bad moment. I don't think you can have one without the other. I mean, it'd be like always winning the World Series or whatever sport. Eventually, you're either going to you're going to lose your passion for what you do, or you're just going to get bored because you never lose. So that's why I never took the bad times to heart because, it just made the good shit feel that much better. Like catching that murder offender or that child rapist, when the whole city's looking for him and you're the one who snags him. Yeah. I just like that. I didn't care about the awards. That's why if you ever come to my house, ain't none of my awards on my walls. I didn't do it for that. I did it because, one, I'm an adrenaline junkie, and two, I love the people I worked with. And I wanted them to be impressed, and that's the only way I knew how to do it, was to go out there and just get after it every single day. And I know it gave my supervisors a lot of gray hair and a lot of stress because I'll tell you this one. This one was funny. So I had just gotten cut loose. Me and him had just gotten loose up at Alcatraz is what we called it back then.
Oh, yeah. I forgot it was called Alcatraz.
And the lieutenant, you know who the lieutenant was. You took his spot eventually. He was my first lieutenant. And I didn't know, he's a big man, never really talked that much, didn't know how to freaking take him. He never really smiled. I'd been there for about a couple of months. Well, this one day, I mean, it was like the perfect storm. Right out of roll call, it's like 2:40. I'm in a vehicle pursuit with a stolen vehicle. Occupied twice. Chase it all the way through whatever. Ends up, they bail out at Lincoln Projects. And I mean, we're going through privacy fences. I mean, we're going through people's yards, privacy fences, all that stuff. Well, I knew there was a car behind me, but they never would take over the radio. So we're going through all these privacy fences and they bail out. Well, I jump out. I look back behind me and it's that lieutenant. And he looks at me and he's got a cigarette in his mouth and he's like, boy, you done created all this goddamn damage. You better catch that son of a bitch. 20 minutes after that, I'm in another vehicle pursuit with a different stolen vehicle. Occupied twice. So we are going balls to walls. They try and bail out. Side partner catches one. I catch the other one. Take them to jail. Do them, whatever. It's about 7:30 at night now. I'm getting out of the damn jail. Now, the person I had arrested for this stolen vehicle rolled on somebody else that had a stolen vehicle because they were swapping stolen vehicles. Tells me where to go. I'm like, all right. 8 o'clock at night. Boom. Third vehicle pursuit that night. Catch him. Blah, blah, blah. That one didn't last long. He ended up wrecking really quick. Catch him, get him out of the jail, blah, blah, blah. I don't get off till like 10:30. So it's probably about 9:15. Remember my lieutenant, as I'm walking out of the jail, he's sitting there and he goes, come here, boy. I was like, all right. And he's like, hey, he's like, I think you've done enough. He's like, so go ahead and take the rest of the night off. I was like, I don't want to burn my vacation. He's like, you're not. He's like, I promise you, I'll do your time card. You are not taking 1 minute off. Just go home. I was like, all right. So I went home, but I'll never forget that. I mean, I don't know how many gray hairs I started for him that night. It was a fun time.
All I know is he was fully gray by the time I got
oh yeah, he was
to replace him.
He had to deal with me and him. So yeah, we were always cocked and loaded.
What's one thing you wish you'd done in your career then that you didn't get to do?
Well, I could have done it, but I didn't. I wished I'd have went back and finished my degree because I would like to throw my hat in for lieutenant.
Would you have stayed longer, you think, if you'd done the lieutenant thing?
Probably, because with the right captain and the right backing, I think I could have got even more done the way I wanted. Never went back to school, never finished my degree, but I think I'd have been pretty good at that position. But
you got to sit back even more, though.
I know.
You get bored sometimes as a lieutenant. Well, as a street lieutenant, you can if you got good sergeants.
But yeah, no, I mean, I never wanted to be a sergeant over investigations. I always wanted to be on the street, and that's what I loved. We'd do roll call, and my guys would hit street. I'd send whatever I need to send, do whatever I need to do for the next day, and then I was out right behind them within 45 minutes. So no, that's about that.
Well, I'll say, yeah, I would have loved for you to finish your degree too, just so you could have it on your wall or, have it in closet or wherever you store your stuff. I don't we even talked about the whole intellectual side of policing. To be a sergeant and to be the one that's out there actually, having to help kick doors in and all the laws and all the different cases and all that other stuff that you have to deal with, like to be a good sergeant, you have to be smart as hell to actually understand all of the case law and all the changes that happen on a daily basis and all that other stuff. And you did really well with all that stuff because it is hard to keep up with that and actually know not even how it reads, but how to apply it.
Yeah, I mean, I was always good with being able to memorize policy.
Because you were always violating.
100%. I mean, I tell everybody, I didn't set out to break policy, but I'm the reason why they had to change the wording because I found that loophole.
Will, not may.
Yeah, changed a lot. I mean,
Did you ever think you'd make it out?
no. Matter of fact, I mean, like I've said it before, and other people have said it. If anybody who knew me back when I first started and throughout my career, and all the shit off duty and how I was hell, how I was as a kid,
Mhm.
no one would have ever thought one, I'd make it to 49. Two,
Congratulations.
yeah, and no one would ever thought if they'd have made bets, they'd have put killed line of duty, killed off duty, prison.
I
No one
concur.
would have ever put their money on he's going to make it to retirement.
And I think that's why I always call him like, "Are you sure you're good?" Because I really, I, I thought you. I was like, "Holy crap, you made it to retirement!" But I wasn't ready for retirement to be totally good with you. Like I didn't think you'd process it as well as you are. So hats off to you, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't think so either. I mean, I was like, I remember I could have pulled my papers on the last day of the working day of August. Can't remember what day it was, but I was enjoying being off so much that I didn't think about it. I remember looking at my phone because that's the other thing. I don't ever look at my phone anymore.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
Remember looking at my phone and seeing what day it was, and I'm like, 'cause I lose track of my days. And I'm like, well, it's official. Can't pull my papers anymore. I mean, we went to the beach and we get down there and I put my phone on the table and it got covered up with something. And I remember like 5 days in, because you know how many emails you get.
Yes.
I remember like 5 days in, I'm like, I looked over at her and I was like, fuck, have you seen my phone? I hadn't had it for 5 days. And I went back up to the condo that night and I searched for it and I finally found it. And I had like 3,000 damn emails and like 14 text messages.
I mean, realistically, I think I'd be gone for like maybe like a 4 days or something like that from work. I'd come back, and this is an exaggeration. I'd have around 350 emails,
Mhm.
and around 200 of them would actually need replies and actionable items. So yeah, it's the policing realm of the administrative stuff. It doesn't stop. And if you're off, somebody's gonna call you and say, "No, no, I need this. Like this is an emergency." Shit. All right. Let me
Yeah, and your
see if I
guys
can-
don't remember that you're on vacation.
Yep.
Hey, what's the calendar look? I mean, like I said, I have zero regrets. I haven't had any itch to get back. Like I said, I talk to guys maybe once every couple of weeks. I thought it was going to be harder.
Yeah,
But
it was hard. I feel like it was way harder for me than it was for you. Like, and I wouldn't have expected that from our personalities.
yeah, no, I mean, I turned all my shit in
Mhm.
and then I went over to IT to turn in my MDT and all that stuff with them. And that one right there really hit me is when they took my fucking proximity card and my fucking sergeant ID from me. I was like,
Mhm.
"What? I gotta give that to you?" Not the proximity card, but my sergeant's ID. They're like, "Yeah, we'll give you a retired one." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, damn." Didn't care about the car, didn't care about none of that shit, but that damn ID card right there, that one hit me. Finding things for me to do is never hard, and I'm my own worst enemy. Trying not to kill myself in retirement is gonna be a fun job.
You should start maybe jujitsu. That one will tear your shoulders up.
Yeah,
But
I already tore one of them.
so speaking of that, one question I did want: what is your worst injury that you've gotten on the job?
Probably that shoulder surgery. I mean, I broke my kneecap. I thought that was bad, but honestly, it really didn't affect me. Broken my hand several times, broke a couple fingers, broke some toes.
How do you break your toes in the boots?
I kicked somebody. And that was when I was in Stack. I was wearing tennis shoes.
Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. It was
But
plain clothes, yeah.
but now the worst injury I had, and I had a bunch of staples and a bunch of stitches, was tearing my shoulder.
Terry, sure. I mean, I remember you doing it, but I don't remember how you did it.
It was an in service when we first got Gracie Jiu Jitsu. Yeah, I think it was called the Americana, where they hold your arm
Yeah.
down on the thing and you can't escape it. Well, when they told me I couldn't escape
Oh,
it,
you're
I
like,
was
bitch, watch.
hold my beer, bitch. And I tried and I felt it pop, felt the burning sensation. Made it all the way through in service, made it all the way through work that day. And then I got home because it really didn't hurt.
Yeah.
But I remember our kitchen cabinet's up here and I was getting me a glass to get a glass of water, and I went to reach up to grab that glass, and my arm only came up to about my nipple. I'm like, "Oh, this ain't good." It would not move past it. I'm like, "Oh, God."
Yeah.
But I tore my rotator and my labrum.
So one of the other questions I always like to ask is, you're a Marine
Yep.
and law enforcement. So how would you parallel and how would you differ the two?
The camaraderie, if you're on the right squad, is the same as the Marine Corps. I always like my unit, we were all like, we did everything together. We partied hard together. We trained hard together. I mean, we were a wild bunch. I mean, they used to give, when they let you out for a weekend limbo on Friday, your company commander would speak, and he'd be like any other officer you'd think of. But then we had a first sergeant, a little short, stocky black dude from Jamaica. And he knew my company, we were the wild. And he would always, after the company commander would leave, he'd always get up there and like, look, you son of bitches. He's like, I don't care if you party hard. I don't care what you do. Don't get arrested because I'm not coming to get you. So you better outfight them or outrun them. And we took it to heart. I mean, it was how I made it through the Marine Corps, I'll never know, because I could go on for stories on that one of how crazy we were, but we were brothers. I mean, I remember fight broke out at the E Club when I was overseas in Japan. The E Club is like literally like 2 buildings from my barracks. There was a couple of our guys and they were fighting a recon unit. Don't know what it started over, probably a woman. Alcohol was doing well. Well, we're all up in the barracks partying. There's like 20 of us in my room, and we're just having a big ass party because we're all NCOs. And I remember somebody running down the hallway. We don't know who's in the fight. Somebody running down the hallway and just beating on everybody's doors, screaming, so and so's in a fight, getting their asses handed to them at the E Club. When I tell you that whole barracks cleared, we're talking like 600 damn Marines cleared that damn barracks. And we all shot for that E Club. Now, it's 2 versus maybe 8, maybe 9, I can't remember. And when we rushed that E Club, you'd have thought that was a forward mission because we just didn't fuck up the 8. We fucked everybody up in that bar, including the bartender. And the MPs showed up, and there's only like 4 of them, and they just sit there and watched it go down because they were not going to get involved with that. They're just like, Nate, no way I'm jumping in the middle of this shit. So yeah, that's what I missed when I got out of the Marine Corps. That was a hard transition. That was a hard transition to retiring. Was not having that, and then
The
because
level of like commitment to the crew.
oh yeah, because we were all big into wrestling fans, you know. So we'd all. I had a house off base because I was married and had kids. So we'd all go over to my house every Wednesday, I think Saturday night, and we'd watch WWE at my house. I mean, like 60 damn Marines. So that was my biggest fear was I'd never get that back. But then it came back, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing. But yeah, I mean, Marine Corps was no joke. I mean, it was a lot of good, a lot of bad also. They play mind games with you to keep you pissed off, which I understand now why they do that. But yeah, no, I mean, that's the only difference is I think most of us had the same mentality as we had in the Marine, as I had in the Marine Corps, you know, but on a different scale. I knew I'd found a home because a lot of people don't realize that, but my whole entire academy, because I had a 12-week collateral, which they don't do that shit no more. And they treated us like we were brand new. They treated us like shit. And I remember once a week, I'd get called to the sergeant of the academy's office because I had a phone call, and it was from my old police department. And every week, it was the major calling me saying, hey, if you come back, it's like you never left. Give you back your stripes, give you back your squad, blah, blah. We just want you to come back. That was every week. And every week I'd tell her no because I found the camaraderie during the lateral class because we all stuck together. And I knew I was never going back. The screwed up thing is on why I joined the Marine Corps. Because my dad was Army in Vietnam, and he was around Marines. He did not like Marines. I was like 13 years old. Me and him were watching a movie one night. It's called Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
Oh yeah. So we're watching this movie. We make it past the boot camp parts, and they're now going on to the combat side of it. Well, he pauses it to get up and get him a beer with a fucking. And I looked over at him. I was like, "Hey," "I'm gonna join the Marine Corps because I ain't college ain't for me." He's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna join the Marines." He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Did you not just watch what I watched?" He's like, "Why the fuck would you want to do that?" I was like, "That little shit looks fun." He's like, "I always knew something was wrong with you." And he just pressed play and we started watching it again. And he thought I was going to get out of it, but I wasn't. I was a wild ass teenager, always in trouble at school, whatever. And shocker. I remember at 17 years old, I went and saw a recruiter, told him I want to join the Marine Corps. He's like, "That's cool." He's like, I'll join you right now. He's like, "But you got to get your parents to sign." And that was a fight. Because I remember my dad telling me, he's like, "Look, I served with him in Vietnam." He's like, "Those some bitches are psychopaths." And I remember my mom looking at my dad and she's like, and he ain't. Have you seen the shit this boy's done? And they signed the paperwork. And I remember them dropping me off at the bus station. And you got to know who my dad was. He was a legend in the state troopers. And he was a hard man, very like growing up with Clint Eastwood as your father, but not Clint Eastwood as Clint Eastwood, but his highest plains drifter movies. I mean, he was hard, man. I remember him telling me, my mom hugged me. And I remember him telling me, because it's the mentality my dad had, and it's probably the mentality I've got. But I remember him pulling me off to the side and say, look, if you quit, he's like, and they drop you back off here, he's like, you just keep walking past my house because you ain't welcome anymore. And I was like, all right. Gave him a hug, or actually a handshake. Gave him a handshake and went on to boot camp. And I remember that first 72 hours, I was like, what the fuck did I just do? And then I got into a groove and never looked back. He came to my graduation and all that. But yeah, he meant what he said. If you quit, you ain't welcome to my home. So I was like, all right.
Guess you're in it.
I was in it. And I turned down some really, because I scored pretty high on the ASVAB, turned down some really cool jobs just so I could go infantry.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Yeah. Guns, blow shit up. Fuck yeah, I'm in. Let's do it.
So how many years did you spend there?
4 years.
4 years. So how would you parallel it, or how would you, if somebody was coming out of the Marine Corps trying to go into a PD, would you say like, yeah, it's a good second career, or
yeah, I mean,
for some,
as long as they've got the same mentality. 03s, yeah. I mean, this is the close to doing what we did in the Marine Corps that you can get. And it's not even close, but it's the closest thing to it. I mean, unless you go like Blackwater or, contract out, but most 03s don't do that. But if you want that camaraderie and you want the guns and all that other cool shit and you got that drive, this is the only thing can come close to it. What sucked about the Marine Corps was to hurry up and wait. But once you were on a mission, your adrenaline's going, you're pumped up. Because like I said, they keep you pissed off all the damn time. And you attack it with everything. Everybody attacks it with everything they've got. I mean, so yeah, no, this is the closest thing to it. I mean, it's the closest thing I've found. I mean, I'll never find it again. I'm just going to be that old guy yelling at people to stay off my fucking lawn. That was my mindset at an early age. Never looked back. I mean, I knew that's what I wanted to do, and still keep in touch with a bunch of my buddies that are still in the Marine Corps. Matter of fact, the Marine Corps 250th anniversary is coming up, and a bunch of them are planning a trip to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where the Marine Corps was invented, in Tun Tavern. And we're going to have like a reunion.
So the Marine Corps is invented in a tavern?
Tun Tavern.
Yeah, that tracks. I don't know what am I
Tun
saying.
Tavern. It was in a bar.
So this is common knowledge amongst Marines?
You look it up.
Yeah.
Tun Tavern is no longer there, but they built another one. So that's where the party's supposed to be at. But yeah, Marine Corps was invented in a bar. We got a bunch of drunk fucking redneck fuckers together, and it was like, hey, sign on the dotted line, you can go on our ships.
Makes sense, actually.
So, and that was my argument, because I got in trouble in the Marine Corps too, believe it or not. It was crazy fighting. And that was my argument, because my lieutenant colonel over my unit, he was an asshole, and he had a stick up his ass. And so I go in there for my NJP, and it was, I got into a bar fight, and then I punched the officer of the day. It was a whole big ordeal. Apparently it was frowned upon. So whatever, apparently. Yeah. So I go in there, and I'm with my first sergeant, and he's like, just keep your mouth shut, because he loved me. He's like, just keep your mouth shut. And he's like, don't say anything. Let's just get through this. I'm like, all right. Of course I didn't listen. And I remember him reading off all my charges and giving me my punishment. And at the end of it, he's like, do you have anything to say? And I was like, yeah, I find it kind of ridiculous that we were invented in a bar, drunk, fighting. And they thought, hey, this would be a good idea. Let's sign these guys up to do the protection on the ships. And I'm getting in trouble for the same goddamn shit now. I was like, apparently we just threw history out the window. He did not like that shit. And I remember my fucking first sergeant. I remember my first sergeant just grunting underneath his breath. And he's like, you're a dumb son of a bitch. So my punishment was I had to clean his offices, that whole entire building, by myself for 30 days after work. Go do the Marine Corps stuff, and then I had to go up there and clean it at 7 o'clock at night. So,
I mean, I would like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not at all, actually.
Well, the screwed up thing is they gave me keys to his office, so I can only tell you how much shit I stole out of his office. And I still have at the house.
That's because it is just as bad as our department's office.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, he would always put his camis up on his thing, blouse. And of course, he's lieutenant colonel, so he had a little rank insignia. I can't tell you how many of his rank insignia I stole. So he'd show up for formation, wouldn't have rank insignia on, so nobody would salute him. And I'm like, make me clean your office, motherfucker.
Well, All right, so then what is one thing you'd tell somebody getting ready to start this career? Seeing how it is completely changed and all the other good stuff. Somebody that's just starting, not necessarily outside the Marine Corps, but just in
Well,
general.
one thing it's like the Marine Corps and its police department, I will say, is I always give the same advice because this advice was given to me when I was a brand new boot in the Marines. I just got to my unit. Surround yourself with positive people. If you can do that, you'll enjoy work every day. But if you get in that pigeonhole of surrounding yourself with just negative people, you're no matter how much you love this job, whatever, they're going to turn you negative and you're going to hate coming to work.
Mm.
And that's what I've always tried to do. And that's why I tell all my new officers, because second shift is where they all come. And it's like, look, don't get around. You know who they are.
Mhm.
Don't get caught up in it. They're going to try and 65 with you. And the moment they start griping or bitching, pull the fuck off. I mean, just don't fall into it. You got to love your job. Because to me, this is not a job. It's a freaking career. It's almost a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So you just got to make it to that. And I was fortunate, I watched my dad go through his career. So watching him go through all his stuff, I got to watch all of it firsthand and basically take mental notes. And, I think my career worked out. I mean,
Yeah, I think I was surprised when you did the sergeant thing. I was super happy, but I was surprised when you did it again, or when you did it again. I was extremely happy. Like, yes, okay, and you took it and you freaking ran with it.
I
Like you
enjoyed it.
ran with it properly.
I
So
needed a change. I just needed a change. I mean, that's what another thing I always tell my guys is in my career, I have never chased off days. I don't give a shit. And that's what I try to tell my guys. I always chased supervision. Someone that I knew was going to have my back and wasn't going to cower down to the man that would actually fight for me. So that's what I always strived for. And some of my guys listen. I mean, I've already gotten several phone calls here lately of they're jumping ship. They're going to go work for a sergeant on third shift south, which they know it's not the same work, but that sergeant is an outstanding sergeant. So he'll take care of them. So they're actually listening. They don't give a shit about off days either. I mean,
yeah, I mean, because a good supervisor can change the whole direction of your career.
it changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
I mean, you know as well as I do. We've all had that shitty ass
Mhm.
supervisor that made it miserable for you to come to work.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh my God, what's this motherfucker going to say today?
Yep.
That one supervisor who could try and compliment you, but he ends up backhanding you at the same fucking time. You're just like,
Mhm.
dude, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
And but yeah, no. Watching my dad and all the shit he did, I mean, like he's a legend in the troopers. Everybody asked me why I didn't go to the troopers.
Dude, I can imagine you being a trooper.
Yeah.
So different.
But I always tell them 2 reasons. One, I didn't want people to think I only got the job because of who my dad was.
Yeah.
I wanted to try and make my own name. But 2, I never thought I could live up to what he did. So I was like, I'm not even gonna try that shit. I mean, because he won every fucking award the troopers ever had to offer, and he won them
I didn't
multiple
even know your
times.
dad was a trooper.
33 years.
I'll say, coming from somebody I have absolutely no one, at least at the time in my family, was in law enforcement. Still, nobody else in law enforcement. My entire family I was brand new to the thing. I did it because I wanted to do it, and it was a freaking honor to get to surround myself with people like you and the other people that, we're mutually friends with, and other people that showed me kind of what it was to be a cop, and to just look out for those on the, around you, and then look out for the citizens too and catch the bad guys. And coming from a team that I came from, I thought I'd never find that team again. Granted, it wasn't the freaking Marines, but it was a team nonetheless. And we did look out for each other. It was cool to have that camaraderie. So then to switch it, I was like, I'll never find it again. And I did. Dude, it was awesome. I was so freaking happy when I came over here and did that, chose to take on that career. I didn't think I'd leave early like I did, but times change and stuff. But it just,
Well, back then you had 3 of the best squads on the best shifts. You had North, 30 and 40 side, who were killing it. You had West, your squad,
mm,
killing it, second shift, and then you had third shift West killing it. I
yep.
mean, those were the dream team squads back then, which you don't really get
Yeah.
those these days. Those were the dream team squads. I mean,
It was, you knew if somebody was coming from that squad, it's like, all right, cool.
oh yeah. I mean, the crazy thing is what most people don't realize is, yeah, you may be at a different precinct, but when the shit hit the fan, North was coming.
Mm,
When shit hit fan on us, y'all were coming. I mean,
mm-hmm.
it was like I said, it was the dream team. I mean, you couldn't. I've never been on a squad or been attached to a squad that was that motivated. The whole entire squad. Never had that again. I've come close, but when I say that we had a 15-man squad. You maybe had one shitbag on that squad. The rest of them were alternate.
Yeah.
To where now, later on, the good squads I was on, I had maybe 3 or 4 people I could depend on, and the rest was, just stay on your side. But yeah, no, I'll never forget those days. Those were the highlight reel. And that's one thing. The only regret I've ever had was I think I went to narcotics too soon because I only did like 2.5, maybe 3 years on the street. I can't remember, and I loved it. God, I loved it. I wished I would have waited to go to narcotics later on in my career because God, I loved it so much. Narcotics is very boring. You know that.
I mean, no, I loved it, but after I don't know, it was a lot of paperwork, a lot more paperwork than I thought it was gonna be.
What killed what I was used to running and gunning.
Yeah, it wasn't the street. It was you do something and then, okay, now you got 4 hours of paperwork. Okay, then you do something big and you research it and then you got
Or
6 hours of
you're
paperwork.
sitting on a house for 7 hours peeing in
Yeah.
a bottle.
Yeah.
That was the part that would kill me.
Yeah, peeing in a bottle was a little harder for me,
I know.
but I
know,
tried.
I know.
It was a little harder when the van is moving also. That was really hard to do.
But yeah, I mean, that's people always ask me, why'd you leave narcotics? And I can tell you the exact moment. For some reason, always revolves around the beach. We had just got off of a Title
That's
III.
when you have your epiphanies, you know,
Yeah, we just got off a big Title III in Birmingham.
which is a wire. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was 3 months long. And every day for 7 days a week, I'd have to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and drive to freaking
I
Birmingham,
hated those things.
sit in a hotel room till 7 o'clock at night, or maybe go sit on somebody's house until 7 o'clock at night. They'd call it, and I'd have to drive all the way back home. That was 3 months.
Yeah.
After we wrapped up the Title III, I took a 2-week-long vacation to Orange Beach, me and the wife and the kids and a couple friends. And I remember sitting on that beach like day 3. And all I ever wanted to do at that point in time was be narcotics. That was my goal. I remember sitting on that beach, and my buddy, he's a cop, but he was a cop at a different agency. And we're sitting there shooting the shit, and I just looked over at all of them. I was like, you know what? I was like, when we get back, I'm turning my resignation for narcotics. And they're like, what? You're full of shit. It's like, no, I'm not. I was like, I'm done, man. This is the most peace I've had. Sure enough, I came back, and I remember putting it on my sergeant's desk, and he's like, is this a fucking joke? It's like, no, I'm done. And I got out.
Yeah, I think that's what people don't realize. They're like informants and stuff call you all the
Oh,
time.
100%.
All the time.
And that was back before when I was in, that was back before the city supplied you a phone. So they were calling my personal cell phone.
Oh, no.
And they lie to you. And it just,
Yeah, we're going to do this in just a minute. 6 hours later.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and back then, officers didn't have test kits. There's only, not even supervisors had them. Only stat guys had them. So when you're on call week and it was a 7-day week, being on call, yeah, you were killed.
Yeah, I was in there before the officers had test kits too. So I was like, oh, I got some crack. It's 2 a.m. Let me go out there. 3 a.m. Another one. 4 a.m. Another one. Damn.
Oh, I remember sleeping in my office on weekends, Fridays and Saturday nights, because of one freaking officer. And you know who he is. He ended up taking my spot in narcotics when I got out because that son of a bitch would not leave me the fuck alone.
All he did was chase dope. Dope.
Oh, that son of a bitch, I'll tell that story. It's funny. So he worked third shift, and I mean, he was a terrorizer, still is, even as a narcotics agent. And I remember his off days are like Sunday, Monday. So he kills me Friday night, he kills me Saturday night. Sunday's supposed to be my off day because he's not fucking working. I remember sitting at home Sunday afternoon, it was probably about 1 o'clock in the evening. We had pagers. My pager goes off. Call dispatch. I'm like, well, motherfuck me. So I called dispatch. I'm like, yeah, what's up? This is agent, whatever. She's like, yeah, I need you to contact this number. I'm like, all right, give it to me. And I'm typing in my phone. And it's his name that pops up. I was like, what the fuck is this motherfucker doing? It's his goddamn off day. So I call him. And he's like, hey, man. I was like, what, dude? What'd you do now? He said, man, I am so sorry. I did not mean for this to happen. He was like, I was driving to the gym, to the city gym. He's like, I'm in my patrol car. I witnessed a wreck right in front of me. He's like, and before I can even get out to help, they're throwing dope out the car windows. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? So I drive all the way into town to test his shit. And I'm like, dude, man. I was like, on your off days from now on, you're not allowed to leave your fucking house. I was like, and if your wife has dope on her, you ain't fucking arresting her. All right.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And also, yeah, totally. That sounds realistic for him. I'm glad you did get back out and then you decided to go the, sergeant around all the stuff that you did do. So for what it's worth, I'm glad you went the path that you did.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, I've enjoyed my whole career. I mean, you want to ask me what the coolest thing I ever did was when I won that DC award and had to go up to DC, I got to meet Chuck Liddell, who was my favorite UFC fighter of all time. He was one of the presenters. Got a big old picture of him.
Really? I didn't even know that. Huh.
It's on my slideshow.
I didn't see it. I mean, I
Yeah,
saw some of the slideshow, not all of it
but
though.
yeah, I got to take pictures with him.
That's cool.
He was
Hmm.
one of the presenters, and him, the guy from The Wire, and the lead lady from the uh, Cold Case series on TV. I used to watch
Mhm.
it all the time too. But all of them.
Never watched The Wire. I just know that one of the older cops we have from the sister cities that we worked with in narcotics always tried to get me watch it while we were doing a wire.
Oh, trust me, it's exactly what we did on T3s. It's crazy.
Really?
You'd like if you start watching it. It kind of got, and actually, it's kind of like based on a true story too.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
and but yeah, no, I mean, so that was a highlight. That was right before I got promoted to sergeant. Was getting that award, and
That's cool. I'm glad you did.
so it was cool shit. I got to go to DC. Finally got to see DC. That was one on my bucket list. I want to see the monuments. I'm a big history buff. Do all that. It was during police week too, so everybody loved
I've
cops.
never been up there during police week, but I've heard it's amazing.
Oh God, I would never go up
Mhm.
there without my wife just because of what I witnessed in one day. I mean,
So I feel like we should describe what a badge bunny is now.
okay, a badge bunny, and the fire department has them too.
Yeah, what does the fire department call them?
I don't know.
Hose jumpers?
I guess, but a badge bunny is females who basically love cops, and
Jump badge to badge.
they jump badge to badge, and they're stalkers. I mean, they
Mhm.
will come find you.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
but yeah, I mean, it was an eye
That
opening
is
experience.
what a female officer fights against, that reputation for some reason too. It's like, oof, no.
But it seems like that's all we hire these days too.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. It's annoying. There's very few female cops. I can name them off, that I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah, finally."
But yeah,
Is there anything else, I guess, that I didn't cover that you wanna shout out about?
no, I mean, yeah, no, that's
I feel like I've asked you a lot. I don't know. I feel like I don't wanna keep on prodding on shits.
yeah. No, like I said, my memory on a lot of stuff is pretty fuzzy. I don't know. I remember more of the joking around shit.
See, I don't remember the joking around. Like, I remember the bad stuff when I do the good stuff, unless somebody reminds me, and then I'm like, "Okay." Like, I remember us working together, and I remember us dying from laughter, but I can't tell you what it was from.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's. I will say this: this is a profession that you can make the best of it, or you can make the worst of it. I mean, it just depends on your mentality. I mean, like I said, some of the shit that's come out of my mouth, yeah, it was crude and cringe and all that shit. But to me, in the moment, it needed to be said to lighten the freaking mood. I
Yeah.
mean, and I've said some shit, I should have known my surroundings better. But it is what it is. And what kills me is civilians have no clue. I mean, what the statistic is, an average cop's in 200 plus bad scenarios or whatever the hell they
Mhm.
call it. Some of it, if you're a proactive officer, you might as well double that shit. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many dead bodies I've seen, how many
Yeah.
bodies I've seen chopped up.
No idea.
I mean, I just kinda, I guess, don't even think about them anymore. It's just like the kids were always the worst, but
Yeah,
you
I
know.
feel like I remember most of those. Like, I know there was one kid that I went to, the father killed her because he was mad at the mom, and her date of birth was the exact same as my kid to the year, like, to the day, everything, and I was like, "Oh." So I remember those ones and just not the general violence. I just don't remember a lot of that stuff or the funny stuff.
Now I
Uh,
remember, well, this is the last story I'll tell, but,
Go
talk
for it.
about our sense of humor and how much of assholes we are. We're going through the FTO phase, 3rd shift, riding with another guy. He's just like me. We're riding around, and, he's teaching me how to do a traffic stop. So I'm driving. He's like, "All right." He's like, noticing nothing wrong with that car. I'm looking. I'm like, "Yeah, it's got an expired tag." And he goes, "Yeah." He's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Fuck, let's pull it over." My first traffic stop ever. First one. So I'm like, "All right." So I light it up. It pulled over into like a church parking lot. Get out, doing my little strut going up there because I'm badass police now. Walk up to the window, little female. She rolls down the window. It's one of my ex girlfriends from high school. Yeah. And we didn't end on bad terms. I think we ended because I went to the Marine Corps. But anyway, it's her. And she's like, "Chaz? Hey, girl, what's up?" She's like, "Oh, hey, it's you." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, the reason why I stopped you, your tags expired. She's like, "It was only a couple months. It wasn't that bad." She's like, "I didn't even know. I don't ever think to look." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, I'll be right back with you. Just give me your license." So go back and run her. He's sitting beside me. And he goes, and he knows because he heard the whole conversation. He knows I know this girl. He's like, "So how do you know her?" And I was like, "It's ex girlfriend." He's like, "Okay, all right." So I'm running her, and she's clean, whatever. I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I think I'm just gonna give her a verbal warning." He goes, "Oh, okay. For your first traffic stop ever, that's okay."
Cool.
He's like, That's kind of new." He's like, You're supposed to be proving yourself." He's like, "And you just gonna go with a warning?" He's like, "Okay, well, that's the kind of cop you want to be." you know. So, I pull out my ticket book. I start writing her a ticket. Whatever. Wrote her a ticket. Walk back up to the car. He's on the other side of the car. And I explained the ticket to her. And the look on her face is like, I cannot believe you're writing me a fucking ticket.
Can't believe you did either.
So I write her this ticket. She, press hard. There's 3 copies. She signs it and she is pissed. Hand it to her. I was like, you got any questions? She's like, I ain't got a fucking thing for you. Shit.
Damn.
So she pulls off. We're walking back to the car. He looks over at me. He goes, dude, I cannot believe you wrote her a ticket. That's a fucking dick move. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, I wouldn't have done that shit. I was like, he's like, you're a cold-hearted bastard. And that's how my career started. I was like, you son of a bitch. But yeah.
Yep, that tracks. That sounds right.
Yeah.
And you kept the trajectory for your entire career.
Yeah. I became the asshole that he made me out to be.
Well, I guess let's wrap it up because I've kept you hostage long enough. Thanks for doing it. Thanks for coming on. And thanks for fucking more than I can put into words, man. Like, especially the last few years of my career, you were a staple in it. And
well, if you remember correctly, I begged you to come to North Seconds. Begged you. I was like, come on, we'll take care of you. You just come up here. Trust me, you'll love it. Just come up here.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, what was the other option? I can't even remember.
I can't remember either now. But I remember begging you, and I remember getting Tony to beg you.
And you did. And you guys did take care of me. I was able to take care of my kid and find out what I was going to do with the job so I could take care of my kid. And yeah, because I haven't told the story because I try not to tell my stories on here as much, but like basically, for those that don't know, like the reason that I left was because of I was a senior lieutenant and I had been moved because they just wanted to mix up the lieutenants, and then I got assigned to a second shift when I'd been second shift most of my career, and then it was hard for me to take care of my kid because she was school age, and those that don't know, second shift is 2 to 10. So
and they didn't move the other lieutenants.
So I'll just yeah.
Oh no, I was pissed off for you. I'll never forget that shit. That was down and dirty, and that right there, I will say, was probably the first time I thought about retiring when I could. Watching them see what they did to you and how good you did your job, that's when I was like, damn, But yeah, no,
Well, thank you.
I was glad you came up there.
No, I had a blast.
We had a blast.
I felt bad because I know I wasn't as present as I should have been, but I was so trying to figure out how to be there for my kid,
100%.
So I felt bad, but also like, God, I wanted to be present because you guys were a good freaking squad. Like, that was fun. That was a damn good way to write it out. Thank you for that.
We had a blast. We was glad to have you. And not, that picture will go down in infamy. Yeah.
I would play it on the podcast, but I don't know if the third person would want to be on there. Perhaps I'll just blot out his face.
I don't get caught off guard too many times, but you got me that day. Like, oh, you bitch.
You guys are so happy to take that picture too.
Yeah.
Get hit in the nuts.
The old nut shot. That was great. And then you just laughing your ass off.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thank you for that. Both of you guys right there. Bam. Man, top 10 favorite pictures ever.
Oh, it was a good one. Like I said, it caught me off guard.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll end this thing. Thanks again. And
still don't understand why we did this naked.